On this show, we frequently call bullshit on the left, and we particularly do it at the culture that says, unless you follow us, you get life. Unless your company kisses the ring, and I don't mean kiss the ring, I mean lovingly kiss the ring, look deep into its eyes, really mean it, then you get life. If you're a broadcaster, a commentator, a tweeter, just a normal person who doesn't agree with whatever the rampant left thought of the day is, you get life. Now, some people think of this as some sort of conspiracy theory or late-night TV fever dream. A perfect embodiment of how the modern left works was freely on show in the past 24 hours in the United States. And for once, I'm not talking about the Democrats, and for a moment, I'm not talking about the people who are looting and rioting. As you know, there are an awful lot of people who think that because they have a slightly different view about politics, that they are better human beings than those who don't agree with them. And those that are a bit just disinterested are literally told, unless you toe the line, unless you kiss the ring, unless you are with us in the mosh pit, then you are against us. This was a lady who was sitting outside to eat in Washington, D.C. She has to do so because you can't eat inside in Washington, D.C. thanks to the virus. Now remember, what happened to George Floyd all those months ago was terrible. What might have happened in the past couple of days, again, a confrontation between police and an African-American man, clearly terrible. But there are nutters who have tried to use the goodwill of others and the tragedy of others as the Trojan horse to get their way. And if they don't get their way, then you get life. Have a look what happens when a mob starts moving towards a restaurant and the lady doesn't join the mob. Instead, she just wants her Caesar salad. A bunch of spoilt, white sooks who think that unless you raise the fist in their cause, then they will just get in your face and scream until you do. It's the perfect example of how the Twitter mob works. If you advertise on this station, then the mob will come and scream in your face until you eventually give in to the mob. Thankfully, there are people who don't do that. Thankfully, you support those people. But you know what this is like. It mightn't be as violent as that, but it is the perfect metaphor for what it feels like when the mob is the minority of people in the room. Yet they make the loudest noise. They get in your face. The same incident from a different angle. You can see how uncomfortable this woman is. Her crime was eating outside and not agreeing with the mob as it rolls by. Remember, this is supposedly about racial justice. Have a look how many woke white sooks are the ones screaming for you to raise your fist in power. These people are pigs. To use the Australian parlance, good on that, Sheila, for saying no. Because in a free country, not joining the mob does not mean that you are a secret member of the KKK. It means if I wanted to join the protest, I'd be there with you. But the way the woke mob works is that unless you are competing with each other to be the loudest, competing with each other to be the most pure, then you are part of the problem. We see it with politicians, we see it with companies, we see it in the education system. But I want you to think of yourself as that lady tonight. You might agree with everything that group believes in, but you don't agree with their tactics. Or you might disagree with every single thing those people have to say or stand for. But you have to hold your ground. You hold your ground to speak your mind when you want to. Not because the mob is screaming, and just because they're screaming is not the reason to give in to them. There are too many institutions in this country, including corporate Australia, that give in to the noise. Oh, another 200 emails today. Oh, how many days can this go? Just cut our losses. No. Think of yourself as that Sheila in Washington today, where your rage was quiet, but your choice about what you said and did was yours.